Hi guys, so as predicted, the programming and wiring tutorial is gonna take me another day. I did review it while lucid, and it didn't make sense because I had to re-record a part, and I recorded that part also with a fever, and so it doesn't make any, it was the wiring part, and I've re-recorded it. It's still a little fuzzy. I'm going to have to make a wiring diagram for you so that it's a little bit clearer, but it is, like, it was no good. So to tide you over for the one day it is going to take me to do that, I had a suggestion during the hangout that I cover the different types of feathers and what they look like and what they're used for, everything, and you know, what they're called, so that you guys can order them and get what you want and get the look that you want. So I'm going to start with the easy ones. These are turkey quills. We've already covered these. These are nice and stiff. You can get lots of really neat, very specific shapes if you need to out of these. And again, these are called turkey quills. You can also get turkey pointers, which I don't think I have any on hand, actually, which are a little bit longer but also thinner. But those are good. They have the same shape as a lot of primary feathers, and they're very, very narrow at the ends. So you can get some really cool shapes with turkey pointers as well, and they're a little bit longer. So when you're working on your wings, you can kind of play with turkey pointers as being your primary feathers, since that's what they are on the bird. The other one that we use quite often are Goose, and I don't know how to pronounce it because it's French, I'm pretty sure, is Nagoire or something. I don't know. Not satinettes. Satinettes are different. They're stiffer. They don't have this lovely curve, and they're extremely flat, and I don't like them at all. They're also more transparent, and they're typically shorter. So don't get the satinettes if you can avoid it. The Nagoire or whatever they are the ones to go for. And I use these for lots of the upper parts of the wings because they're nice. They're still nice and broad. They've got this round top, just like your quills do. So these are a great top feather for a lot of wings. Another thing you can use for the top of your wings, if you want it to be a little fuzzier and softer, if you want to go from big feathers to little feathers to actually fuzzy feathers, a really great type of feather is, I don't remember what these are called. You can find them in boas, which is what this is the boa I dyed. But these are the fuzzy feathers that, I mean, you get the fluff that you can get in giant bags, and you can get them in a zillion colors. They work great for a lot of things. These are not the ones that have the square tops. Those ones I wouldn't recommend for really anything if you want it to look sophisticated and nice. I have used a natural one of those, you know, but they were bigger and broader and prettier, and they're not normal. So if you're gonna transition, I would go from Goose to the turkey fuzzies. The boas are nice. They're nice and thick, typically, if you get a good one. And what you can do is you can use them to basically, you put a strip of it just at the tops, and you can get this fuzzy top, and you can just like go along the whole thing, put a line of hot glue, and then just tape this down, paste this down to the line, and then do it on the other side. And then what I do is I breathe on it to get the seam, and then I put hot glue in the seam, and then I just kind of squish some of the fuzz together, because otherwise that will show. So if you use the fuzz boa, something to look out for. Let's see. And I will, in the description below, name and link all of these feathers of what to use and what not to use. The who's who of feathers. What do we got here? I'm basically just going through my feather pile, letting you know what each is. So these are rooster tail feathers. These are very, very long ones. So these ones are like 18 inches. Very like, and the longer they are, the more expensive they are. These are nice though. As you can see, this way. As you can see, they have a really nice flow to them. Like, so as you're walking, like they'll bounce. So I recommend if you want anything Victoria's Secret-esque, these look great. They don't have typically very high coverage, but in terms of to the side, but like they are very long, so that's nice. And you can get them in like crazy colors, and you don't have to get them that long. That's like the longest. That's the longest that I get. I think that usually I get around 14 inches, which is what this is. And you can get them in all kinds of like rainbow colors. These are almost any color you can imagine. You can get them in. It's great. And that's also for Victoria's Secret-esque type things. Like, you can customize to your heart's content and get a really nice, beautiful movement, even if you do a static wing. And so I like those. They are more expensive, definitely quite a bit more expensive, but you're kind of trading beauty for, price. So depends on your budget. Like, you can always, the cheapest way to go is definitely the turkey quills with the goose shoulder feather on top, and possibly like the turkey fuzz, again, down below. I'll type all these out. I don't remember what this is. But if you want something that's going to be really beautiful on like a runway, or in, but you don't have the money for all the actuators and stuff, maybe splurging a little bit more on rooster would be better. So there are some other types of rooster that you can get. This is Rooster Schaplan. It's a much shorter feather, but they're very pretty, and like if you want iridescence, for example, you can still get some iridescence on these. And they come in lots of different lengths. Always pay attention on your rooster what length it is, because like, and keep in mind that length will include, the little quill portion at the end, which is about 1 inch, and you're going to end up cutting that off. So if you think, oh, well, I really only need something that's 10 inches, if you find something that says 8 to 10 inches, that means it's actually like 6 to 9 tops kind of thing. So keep that in mind when you're looking for your rooster. And the tail feathers in particular come in lots of different sizes. For a hemplo, for example, these are also a rooster tail feather, and these are only, I'm going to say 7 or 8 inches. And these are great as a substitute if you wanted to have this movement. If you want to substitute these for the goose shoulder and put more of the tail in on a set of sleeves, the movement and the iridescence on these is gorgeous. So that's definitely a recommendation for that. So what else do we have? We have, I should probably be putting these away as I tear apart my boxes. So the other thing we have are ostrich. Ostrich is another very Victoria's Secret, like the fan in the room is blowing this around. Like, that's the kind of movement you're going to get, like just airflow moves these. They're so pretty. As you walk down the runway, if that's what you're doing, like, these move beautifully. You can often get them in quite a variety of colors, black and white being the most popular. But yeah, so these can be huge, also expensive, but huge. I would recommend getting a high quality high quality ostrich, because you can get, the lower quality ostriches will have holes in them. And I mean, you can expect almost, unless you get like super high quality, which is very expensive, you can expect some damage. So like these are some filler ones, and I don't know if you're going to be able to see. can kind of see here how there's like these strips here, these bands that are out, like that's damage right there. And it's more visible in person than it is on this camera, but you can kind of see how there are those bands of damage running through the feather. So and then like sometimes you'll just have chunks that are out of it. And so the lower quality you go, the more damage like that you're going to see. They're very fragile feathers. And so, yeah, it's hard to keep them super, super nice. And so you're going to end up spending a lot of money if you want to get some like primo quality ones, for sure. I typically, for like the filler feathers, so like the big ones that are on the very edge of my wing, I will get high quality ostrich feathers. And then for the interior, where there's going to be backing of like more feathers and the felt to kind of in the same color to kind of mask that damage. So like this has these bands here, but you know, you can only really see them if I put them against a light background. With a black background, they become almost invisible. So this would be an interior feather, and we can just shh. It's fine, nobody will notice, right? Okay, so moving on to a pheasant feather. This is a Reeves pheasant feather. It's one that's dyed black. Normally these are brown, kind of an orangish brown with black iridescent bands. I don't know, you can kind of see how they have those iridescent bands still with the black, and the edges are, you know, it tapers out to the edges. So I don't think this is as long as they get, but it's close. So I mean, you can get rooster tail that's almost as long. It's probably maybe as much as 5 inches longer here. These are nice and stiff, but they're very straight. They don't have any curve to them, and they hold that really, really well. They're very, very stiff. So it's a very shocking, harsh feather in term. It's not nice and graceful. This is very hard and stiff. Not quite as bad as a turkey. You can see that they still have bounce and move to them, but they're definitely, as far as the pheasant feathers go, these are the shorter, stiffer ones of the group. This is Reeves pheasant. I like using them for I don't know, experimental, harsher looking wings. They're really fun to work with, but definitely they have their own place. Okay, so the next one, which is my favorite, my second favorite, I should say. This is Lady Amherst, and these you can get super long. They have different types of feather, and I don't think I have. There's center tail and then there's side tail. These are the side tail feathers. They're extremely long, you can see, and they do have lots of bounce and sway, and they have a little bit of curve. You can, they're so pretty. These ones are also another pheasant feather that is the brown with the stripes on it, and again, if I get close, you can kind of see the stripes on there still. And you can get these in lots of different colors as well. What they'll do is they'll bleach them and then dye them all kinds of crazy colors. And so these are actually, they're still expensive, but they're pretty easy to get in crazy colors. The easiest is actually Lady Amherst. The center tail feathers are super long and they're white. And I sadly do not have an example. Nope, no examples. But the thing with those feathers is they have the center quill, and then if the center quill is going towards you guys and you guys are kind of getting a spliced view, all of the hairs, on the side on these go straight out. On those you have the quill, and then they kind of droop to the side and actually kind of go down from the quill. So the quill is the top of the feather, and then these go whoop, and they kind of fall, which is really cool to play with, especially if you're doing, again, like a Victoria's Secret type thing. I like them. They're fun. Those are white with stripes, and again, because they're already white, those get dyed all kinds of crazy colors. Those ones are super fun to play with. Also expensive, but not quite as expensive as, strangely, as the side tails bleached and dyed. I prefer these when I'm substituting for what's supposed to be a real feather, because it has, you know, the everything looks like a normal feather, whereas those ones are clearly tail feathers. To me, I don't know, I'm picky. Let's see, what else do we have? Oh, here we go. This is also Lady Amherst. So this is basically just a very small version of that big one that I showed you. And these are very short. You can get them in all kinds of sizes, all kinds of prices. They're beautiful, beautiful feathers to work with. They're one of my favorites. I wish they were not so expensive so that I could work with them more. Speaking of super expensive, this is my favorite. This is a silver pheasant feather. Look how pretty it is. They're very large, very broad, and they have this gorgeous curvature to them, and they have a bounce. You can actually flip them over and, you know, have them kind of curl up and flip up if you kind of want to. If you want to have kind of this messy look or an upturned look to your wings, you can flip them over, or you can flip them down for, you know, a normal droopy look. But this is how the tail feather is. You can also get these ones dyed in various different colors. The colors are, I will say, on these dyed ones, not quite as rich as you would get on, say, so this is turquoise, because these are very transparent, a very, very transparent feather. So this is the same dye on a rooster tail feather versus on the silver pheasant. So if you get dyed silver pheasants, you will be getting a muted color in comparison. So let's see, what else we got? I think the last thing to talk about maybe is different. Right here is peacock. These I only use the eyes because honestly, like you can see there's no coverage. They're very wispy in the middle. Like the only part that has coverage are the ends. So I typically get shorter ones and use them as accents. I do not use them in the wing. I'll use them kind of towards the meat of the wing rather than something that's going out to the edges, because they just don't look good. Exception being if you are making like a fairy wing that has feathers, and you can use those as kind of the little curly bits that come up and off from there. So yeah, those are the main feathers I use. I'm trying to think. There are other pheasant feathers that you can use. They start to get, I talked about some pretty expensive ones, but I will say that a lot of other pheasants, unless you're specifically looking for the natural coloration that they have, are much thinner or stiffer than I find is useful or user-friendly. Or they're just expensive and less useful than one of these other ones. So, but if you have a question about any of the feathers that I've talked about, or if you have a question about a feather I didn't talk about and you want my opinion on it, please leave a question in the comments and I will get back to you as soon as I can. And let's have a discussion about all the different, there's so many cool feathers out there. Let's talk about them. And yeah, I promise I will have the next video up in a day or two. Thanks for joining me. Bye, guys. Coconut, do you want to join? Yeah. Are you going to bite me if I hold up feathers? Okay. Some of the other feathers we have, like Rooster comes in lots of, Rooster comes in, okay, that's, no. Rooster? Yeah.
She's not going to rooster.
She doesn't like the word rooster. Rooster feathers. Yeah, that's what I'm going to talk about. Rooster comes in, nope.